Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I welcome both you and your ears to an episode of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. In case you're wondering who Angie is, I'm Angie, and I'm super stoked to spend some time sharing with y'all some of my experiences and thoughts on living, loving, music, and space travel, or spiritual experiences as I often refer to as space travel. A rather broad spectrum, right? Well, my hope is to always share something that resonates with, intrigues, excites, or perhaps inspires you. On that note, I invite you to sit back, buckle up, and take a little trip out into the cosmos with me. Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and welcome to episode number 4. Holy cannoli. I've made it. It's almost hard to believe. I'm just about 1 month in. My goodness. It's been a pretty cool, fantastic, exciting, nerve-wracking ride to get to this point. Number 4. I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful and humbled by the accolades, the support that I've gotten from so many people out there, friends, family. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for listening. And here we are. Well, here I am right now anyway. It is Sunday night, 11:32 officially on the East Coast. So 9:30 back in Colorado, where my Colorado friends and family are. And who knows what time it is out in other parts of the world. Anyway, right now I am sitting down, relaxing, hanging out with my furry babes. I'm going to do a little bit of chit chat. So you'll have something to listen to tomorrow morning on your way to work, or during your lunch break, or on your morning jog, or before you go to bed. Who knows? This week, I actually have a legit topic. I want to say thank you very much to my friend and avid listener, Ian, my friend from Colorado, my dear friend April's loving husband. He suggested the topic this week. I'm going to get right into it, without dilly-dallying and jabber-jawing too much about other stuff, because I'll do plenty of jabber-jawing throughout this episode. But Ian suggested the topic of, as I'm going to paraphrase it, self-imposed pressure. The pressures we put on ourselves. What my goodness, I could fall down into the rabbit hole of all of the pressure. And this week I've been thinking a lot about it. It's been a pretty busy week. I really just worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I worked a lot. It seems like I worked a Saturday double. I worked lunch today. I didn't work a Saturday double. I take that back. I was supposed to, but I worked Friday double instead, kind of unexpectedly. And that will even tie into the pressures we put on ourselves. And it's just got me thinking, why I do the things I do. And I do believe it falls very appropriately into my topic, the topic of my podcast, Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. As I've mentioned, jumping right in, man, oh man, why I do the things I do. Who am I doing it for? What am I hoping to get out of it? Self-imposed pressure. That's what I really call it. And it's got me thinking. So directly in relation to where I am, I guess, right now, the easiest thing that I can focus on first is starting over. As I've mentioned before, I'm now 2.5 months. Let's see, I got here in North Carolina on Christmas Eve. So December, January, February. I've been here almost 3 months. Not very long. And my goodness, I was placing some pressure on myself for years now, actually. But the pressure to start over here, I did actually take some time off when I first got here. I decided, I'll give myself a little bit of time, allow myself to decompress from some pretty big changes. I have mentioned for those who have listened before, you have heard the story. For those who know me, you know kind of what my path has been like for the last few months. But I'm in North Carolina now, staying with my folks. I turned 50 this past summer. Unfortunately, recently divorced. It's actually been a year, but we just recently parted ways, sold the house in Colorado where had been for 27 years. That's a lot of change. And I had just really, I didn't give myself a whole lot of time. Got here to North Carolina, decompressed a little bit, but kind of pushed myself right back into the work world. Actually worked at I did some catering for a company in Wilmington. Oh, goodness gracious. It was 3 days of way too much work for way too little pay. I had the wrong shoes on. I worked, 2 12-hour days. My toenails are still going to fall off of my toes pretty soon. It's flip-flop weather here, and I'm self-conscious about, wearing flip-flops because people think my toenails are painted, and they're really just black and blue. But I put myself into a situation that was really unnecessary. And reflecting on that, what is it that I was doing? What was I hoping to get out of it? Who was I trying to please? It's such an introspective process that is important for me to really look at, I guess. I love the spiritual journey, which I direct or connect directly to my space travel portion of the podcast. The why I'm doing what I'm doing. Life has really, it's been changing a lot. My mode of thinking is changing a lot. I'm trying not to place pressure on myself, really. These last few years of my life have been incredibly overwhelming. I endured a lot of unacceptable behavior, I'd say. I guess I can put it in one way. And why was I doing that? Kind of afraid of disappointing somebody, thinking I was going to be a failure, trying to go above and beyond as though I was Superwoman. It's just so interesting, So the pressure for me coming here, I had this self-imposed pressure to move on, get over it, rushing into big decisions. Fortunately, I did when I got here. I kind of started looking at houses, and I don't really know where I want to live or where I want to go or what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And so fortunately, having been on a road of what I call recovery and self-discovery, as I have mentioned, I am in recovery. Haven't had a drink in a long time. Haven't had anything else in a long time, recreationally by any means, in quite some time. Along with that, I participate in a lot of different things that have expanded my spiritual life and have really, it's been necessary for me to gain some coping skills and put some tools in my toolbox. So what used to be tolerable, what used to be, I won't call acceptable, but what I used to accept because I had some sort of an out at the end of the night, I can't do those things anymore. And that's really actually quite a gift. I'm not able to work somewhere that I don't enjoy. The 3 days of catering, I call it my catering nightmare. And it was not like, it had me missing Red Maple. I miss my Red Maple people and the beautiful event space and the lovely appetizers and the fantastic decorations and, all of that stuff. And this catering was unfortunately nothing like that. But I had to own it. I finished out my 3 days. I did the thing. And when I was done, I was pretty much done. It was, thank goodness, just a kind of an on-call position. So I could always go back and do something if I wanted. But I really, I had to reflect on why I was doing what I was doing and understand that I had choices. Today, I don't have to sit in that place of doing something that is unacceptable or unenjoyable. I have a lot of choices today, and I can often forget that. So, and I was reminded, it's funny, I think about this weekend was pretty busy. And this really cool girl that I work with at Jack Mackerel's, her name's Daria. Maybe she'll listen to this, maybe she won't, but she's been a great support system. We were so busy the other night. I actually opted to be out of the rotation of taking tables for 2 turns. I had too many people, and she said to me, Angie, self-care, don't place pressure on yourself. And there is a time when I would have just taken the tables. I got to take them. I can't let somebody think that I'm incapable. I need to impress, or I need to earn my spot. And I didn't do that. I opted out, let somebody else take them. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm really trying to do the best I can. And it felt really, really good. And it was wonderful that I really wasn't bothered or upset with myself. I made plenty of money, and it was pretty cool to have the support of my gal pal, rooting me on for self-care. It's pretty exciting I've been working with some younger women, and it's been a while since I've been around really some younger women, and they're cool and they have great energy and they're hard workers in such a different place. I've been thinking about, my goodness, I was chatting with a couple of them today about what it was like when I was in high school, 10th and 11th grade. Oh my goodness. Broadalbin, Perth High School. I had my first kiss in 11th grade. I surely was not thinking about, math or algebra, social studies, any of that kind of stuff. I think actually the one class that I failed was 10th grade social studies. It was not my greatest, any of that stuff. I wasn't a great student, that is for sure. But reflecting on high school and thinking about the self-imposed pressure I put on myself back then to be cool, I wanted people to like me. I did or became what you wanted me to be so that you would like me. I didn't want to be rejected or abandoned or unfriended. Oh my goodness, I would not. You couldn't pay me to go back to being a high schooler or really a young woman. It was very, very challenging in the mind. So I'm really grateful to be in this space that I am in today, which is taking pressure off. I definitely will continue to invite you all throughout this episode and after you listen to it to think about the pressures that you are putting on yourselves and why you're doing what you're doing, and especially the reminder that we have choices and they do come with consequences. When I decide to do or not to do, it comes with a consequence. Sometimes there's loss. Sometimes there is abandonment and rejection. Today, oh gosh, I'm much more willing to take the rejection, to stand my ground, to set a boundary. I'm not afraid of losing a job. Another job will come. I do know that, once again, sitting in a place of fear, I'm kind of in a place where, I don't have any children of my own other than a beautiful stepdaughter who lives up in Alaska. I'm sending you a package soon. I'm terrible with gifts. That's a whole other episode that I could have on trying to keep up with birthday cards and birthday gifts and Christmas and stuff like that. That is not my forte. But anyway, so other than the time that I've been able to spend with Courtney, that's been wonderful. I did not raise children. I have my wonderful dogs, and right now I don't have a house. I don't have much for bills, but I have definitely spent, I spent the last 18 years, taking care of a home and having a husband and doing a lot of stuff that really required buckling down and quite often doing the thing you don't want to do, just to make sure that the bills get paid, that stuff gets done and taken care of. But even today, I don't know how things are going to play out. I imagine that someday I'll have a house again. I'll have some more responsibilities possibly. And I'm just, I'm going to hold on to the reminder that I don't have to put all the pressure on myself to do things by myself, especially. Lots and lots of choices. So that kind of moves me into, I'm just going to transition into the love area, and the idea of, again, self-imposed pressure in that area. Oh my goodness, the things we do for love, the things I've done for love. Please like me, love me, don't leave me. My goodness, it wasn't long ago that I really wanted to hold on desperately to the situation I was in. I did not want it to change. I both the other person and I were in different places in our minds. And it was quite a journey for me to stay the course that I had chosen, that I decided was best for me. Today, I'm not in a place so much of judging the other person. It's not my business. We actually, so far in the last few months, have the best relationship we've had in a long time. And so I think it is the best for where we are today. Who knows how things will turn out in the future, but I really did things out of fear, the fear of loss, the fear of losing the house, the fear of losing the job. I did things that, my goodness, I tolerated unacceptable behavior in many areas, in the workplace, with friends, family, loved ones, strangers, all of that kind of out of fear of being a failure in some way. A bad friend, a bad wife, a bad sister, a bad daughter, a bad employee, a bad person trying to be of service and doing a bad job at it. Keep in mind, for sure, as I continue to go forward, because I am still a work in progress, just like everybody else. But today, I am not afraid of somebody. At some point on this journey of mine told me that what other people think of me is none of my business. And so if you don't like me, or you're not hip to what I'm doing or how I'm living my life, then that's just fine. I can do without it. One less person I have to worry about. And that may sound harsh and cold, but it's actually quite a place of freedom. I will continue to work at being a good friend and being a good sister and all those things. But that has to do with my putting myself at the top of the list, and not in a selfish, egoic way, but making sure that I am doing things because I want to do them rather than doing them because I think I'm supposed to, and then being filled with resentment when the other person doesn't react the way I wanted them to. It also, just reminds me of how often I did not do for myself, touching on the musical category, which I have yet to get to a concert yet, and I've been talking about it. But this idea of self-imposed pressure, or even just these expectations of myself, who places them on me? It's not other people do have expectations of what I should be doing, or so they think, or could be, but it is my choice to take it and personalize it and sort of make it into anything that I decide I should be or could be doing. I love when people say, don't should on yourself. There was a time when I didn't feel okay about spending money on myself. I am going to some concerts soon. I'm going to Jazz Fest. I'm taking the time and allowing myself I'm going to enjoy something. I'm going to take a little trip. I love music, live music. I'm so excited about seeing so many bands. And yes, it costs some money, but I'm pretty sure I'm deserving of it. And I've worked hard for my money. I've worked hard to get to where I am, and allowing myself to not feel guilty about it that's taken quite a bit of work. I've worked hard through this life. Once again, everybody has their own perspective on things, but I recently bought some tickets to go see Brit Floyd, and I spent the money on the VIP ticket, and I'm excited about that. And, I don't know what else I'm going to go see that might be a VIP option, but I am worthy of enjoying this earthly experience for sure. That kind of, I'll move right into, it's interesting, the whole space travel section. This is just this place puts me in a vulnerable position when I get to the space travel section. That's the spiritual area of my life. I'm kind of all over the place here tonight, but this pressure to do this life experience all on my own. I actually watched some fairly disturbing TV tonight, Chicago PD, if anyone's watched it. I watch too much crime television, but it was a sad episode, and oh my goodness, I actually watched This Is Us also, giving props to some good television, but it touched on some really challenging topics, suicide, and, it was really suicide, veteran suicide particular, and they did prompt at the end of both shows the suicide hotline number if you're having trouble, and I'm going to put it out there right now as well. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. National Suicide Hotline. There are people waiting on the other end who would love to hear from you, who are waiting to hear from you. And there was a time in my life, definitely, when I was suffering and struggling long before this past summer, of which I have shared that it was the darkest summer of my life. Having not had a drink in a long time, not had a drug in a long time, and things were dark. But I was overwhelmed with life, divorce and loss and change and all kinds of upcoming things. Hitting 50, it's a life. My goodness, this journey it's a lot. And so, but long before that, I definitely sat in a place of doing this by myself. Gosh forbid I should ask for help, gosh forbid I should let somebody know that I'm not superwoman. And I can still fall into that superwoman mode very often, thinking that I should have this life stuff figured down. I've been doing the things I need to for a long time. I've been on a spiritual path. How could I need help? I must be doing it wrong. And I have to work through that pretty regularly, which, this summer I reached out for a different additional option to my recovery program. And I have shared pretty openly about it because it was life-changing for me. And some people that I know who have also participated. And so I'm never trying to sell or promote, but I did do the ketamine infusion process. And it's definitely going to be a part of my life at this point. Some people take medication forever, and I opt to sit in a clinical setting and go through with a 45-minute drip of the ketamine infusion process. And it's been life-changing. And it was very challenging for me to ask for help and to acknowledge that something was definitely off with me. I was very afraid of rejection. I was afraid of what people would think of me. I'm still kind of afraid of what people will think of me, or how they'll think I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not really, quote, sober, or practicing a real clean process of my recovery. But I then have to turn back to the person who knows Angie the best, which is me. And I don't make all my decisions on my own, of course. I do have outside voices that I talk to, so I'm not in my head by myself. But it has definitely been an area where I feel like if I had continued to place pressure on myself for doing life the way other people do it, or how I think certain people do it and how I think they think I should do it, I do believe it would have been incredibly detrimental to my mental health, which was already terrible last summer. It didn't need to go down any further. So this idea of placing pressure on Angie right today, I take that pressure off and I continue, I invite you all to do the same. Where are you placing too much pressure on yourself? I haven't been to the gym in a while, but I'm being gentle. I got my Vitamix and I'm drinking smoothies and I'm eating better. I can only do so much. My goodness, we can only do so much. I don't know about y'all, but I'm just a garden variety human doing the best she can, on this trip called life. When I take that pressure off, it sure does get more enjoyable. It gets easier. Understanding that there are decisions that I've been making. Even tonight, I am kind of tired and I have been putting out on Facebook, episode 4 coming Monday. And last week I put all this pressure on myself and came home and kind of freaked out, did 45 minutes of nothing, deleted the episode and went to bed. I was a little challenged with feeling like, quote, a failure, not living up to my own expectations. Who out there, I don't want to say who cares, because I know people care. I do have listeners. People are listening. I like to think that you're going to be excited about what you hear. I'm sure there are people who have started to listen to an episode and decided, nope, not for me. And that's okay too. But I sure hope that somebody is listening and has gotten something out of Ian's topic. This is really, it's just a great area to focus. I'm pretty positive we all put way too much pressure on ourselves. Pressure that comes from expectations of others, our parents, what we thought we were supposed to be, how we thought life was supposed to turn out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I did not expect to be 50 years old, divorced, living with my parents. Goodness gracious. And yet this last week, there's been a shift for me. It's been a struggle. I have been fighting the fact that this is where I am in my mind. But it's gotten easier. I feel like I don't know, crossed over the fence or just got to a point where I realized, my goodness, the past is the past. I don't live in Colorado anymore right now. I don't know if I'll go back. I'm enjoying my job. All of these things that I was definitely afraid of, not kind of, being in a new place, being with new people, things not being the way they were or the way I wanted them to be. Well, my goodness, thank goodness I don't get what I want. I would have been dead probably a long time ago if I'd gotten the things that I wanted or the people that I wanted. And it's just been this faith building, this faith builder. You know, I was standing on the beach today, smiling. I'm like, holy cow, this is where I am. I did want to be here at one point. I wanted to be closer with my parents. And here I am. I am closer. I didn't necessarily want it to come in this package, but this is the package that it came in, and that's okay. I had a conversation with my ex-husband last night. My goodness, we talked for an hour. It was wonderful. We haven't talked that much. We've talked more in the last 2.5 months than we have in the last 2.5 years. This is what it took. I don't have to work again until Friday. What am I going to do this week? Work on my mental health, and I'm going to hang out with some friends and go to the beach and do some stuff with mom and have dinner with mom and dad and watch the boob tube and be okay with that. And who knows, maybe it won't go that way. I like to think that tonight I'll go to bed here in a little bit and sleep through the night, allow myself to sleep in tomorrow, take the pressure off. I've got some gifts I want to ship out. I got to send in that colonoscopy thing that you get from, I don't know, it comes in a box. It's not a colonoscopy. I've been putting that thing off for months. And, so that's on my list of to do. But I make the list and then I see what happens. Sure does make life more enjoyable. I'm living up to my expectations. I've got this, here's my question I'll put out there to all y'all. What practices help you in doing what's necessary to not succumb to self-imposed pressure or unhealthy expectations of yourself? What kinds of pressures do all of you place on yourselves, first of all? What a wonderful world it is when I shouldn't say it is, what a wonderful world it would be if we were all focused on kind of personal growth being the utmost of importance. I think Ram Dass talks about that a lot. The most important thing we can do is work on ourselves. It changes everything. It changes the family dichotomy. It changes the work atmosphere. It changes driving down the road and not having road rage, all of that stuff. Tailgating and horns beeping. So I will say again, I would love to hear from you. I would love it if somebody would email me or send me a text on Facebook, something, letting me know your thoughts on how all of this stuff relates to you. Pressure, self-imposed pressure, and especially any changes or growth in that area and what it is that you've done to help yourself remove that pressure. It's a large weight. I think we're all doing the best we can. And I am going to go into one of my favorite podcast tools, which is Poddex. Poddecs. I think you can actually order an actual deck. Comes with all kinds of questions that you can use to start up a conversation. My goodness, you could use it in your living room with your family, hang out, have a little pod deck evening, learn about yourselves, but they also have it in app form, and I will include it in my show notes as all kinds of different topics. And this is actually in the mental health topic. It says, what are 3 things that you do for mental health on a daily basis to keep it in check? And so, what are 3 things that I do for my mental health on a daily basis to keep it in check? Well, part of my daily regiment is I get up and I pretty much start kind of turning things over right away. Turning them over to who? What? I don't really know. Higher power, as I call it, the universe, something bigger than Angie. I ask for some direction of my thinking. That alone takes some pressure off of me. I don't want to go into the day thinking about all the things that I have to do, all the things that I need to get done, because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing on this planet, being kind, being of service to others to the best of my ability, and enjoying the ride for sure. The universe has got me. If I can let go, life is going to unfold and it's going to play out in a manner that I could never put together myself. So I like to definitely wake up by turning things over, letting go to the best of my ability. And then I actually get up and read something out of one of my favorite daily readers, Melody Beatty, The Language of Letting Go. Such a fantastic daily reader on codependency, which, is not about me being clingy with others, but more about me being clingy with others' reaction to my behavior. It's a great book. So I read something out of there. I let the dogs out and take a deep breath. Do a few readings for sure, but I try and listen to something enjoyable also on my way to work. So for me, those are 3 things. A little bit of prayer in the morning, a reading to get something to pique my imagination, kind of give me a little bit of direction. And lately, I've been listening to Dave Grohl's The Storyteller. Oh, what a really spectacular, I'll call it a memoir, on one of the greatest musicians for sure, and his journey thus far. He speaks pretty openly and honestly. And whether you love the Foo Fighters or Nirvana or Scream, I think maybe was his first band, it's well worth listening to. And you can definitely find it on the Audible app. That's what I've been listening to it. Audiobooks, they're definitely my new favorite way to listen to. I love reading, but the audiobook is the best way to go for me. I'm in my car a fair amount, and so it really gives me something good to listen to. So check that out. I kind of think maybe that's it. I've sort of been all over the place, in here. I want to thank Ian again for sure for the topic, and I apologize if my voice has been going up and down. I keep kind of moving back and forth from the microphone. I'm still learning how to get this, do this podcast thing, and I'm taking deep breaths tonight, and I feel like I might be talking a lot, but that's okay. I am a work in progress for sure, just like all of you are. I'm so grateful for anyone who has joined me or who will join me, because actually right now it's just me and the dogs. They're sleeping or listening to me, either way. I kind of think that's it. I'm going to do one more pod deck question. Where do you like to go on a first date? I haven't been on a date in a long time, if I can call it that. I think maybe last summer I might have went on a date, and it would have been my first, it was really, would have been the favorite. The favorite thing for me would be live music. I don't know. Live music. Let's go rock out, get a little dancing in, enjoy some, and I think I'd want to go to an outside amphitheater. Anyway, maybe that'll come to fruition at some point if I ever get back into the dating game. But for now, I'm just enjoying life one day at a time. And today, actually it's tomorrow, 12:07 a.m., Monday morning. On that note, I'm going to thank you again for joining me on this new journey. I feel like I've been all over the place, but it's exciting. Please email me, ASHY is badass gmail.com. Let me know about a topic you might have in mind, something you want to hear about, something I can investigate, something you're experienced in. Send me an email. Please let me know if you have any thoughts on this episode. Self-imposed pressure. Thanks, Ian, for the topic. Thanks, April, for sending it to me and giving me the idea, sharing it for me. And I hope you all slept well and have a wonderful week. Until we meet again. Bye. So we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks so very much for listening. It's now time to reconnect to planet Earth and all that comes with living on the blue ball. I'd love to hear your ideas for future episode topics, along with any and all positive and or constructive feedback. Please feel free to contact me at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Thanks again for spending some time with me and allowing me to share myself with you. Until next time, please be gentle with yourselves, be kind to animals, and do all you can to allow your authentic selves to shine brightly.